And welcome everybody to the PoGo Journey podcast. This is episode number 3. Uh, Today we're going to be talking with TXMischief about their journey through Pokemon Go and what motivates them to play the game. I am Juic3This. Across the screen from me is Mr. AECORONA, the man, the myth, the raider. And we'll have TXMischief. We're going to talk with her about her journey through Pokemon Go and, like I said, what motivates her to play the game and where they found their community. So, without further ado, TXMischief. Hey, hey.
Hello.
All right.
There I am.
So as you guys can see, we no longer have a Pokemon. We have upgraded to actual people. So we have her camera. She decided to join us. So there she is. Rapid fire questions. You wanna do it this time?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. So, did you ever play any of the main series games?
I did not.
All right. Does your partner play Pokemon Go?
There is no partner.
No partner?
No.
All right. Any kids?
Nope.
Any shundos? More important than kids.
None.
Ooh.
None.
All right. Have you ever been through the Panama Canal? Or been to the Panama Canal? Through or to?
I have not. It's on the bucket list.
On the bucket list. All right. Do you set yourself a budget for Pogo?
Not really. My budget is mainly just to spend as little as possible on the game.
Okay. Fair enough. And do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 cats and a dog.
A cat and a dog.
Any one of which may appear at some point.
What are their
During
names?
Cleo and Danica are the cats. They are both tortoiseshell, so they have tortitude. And then I have an Australian Shepherd named Cora.
So awesome. And any Pokestops or gyms near your place of work?
My place of work is my house, and so yeah, there is actually one in the neighborhood, and then I can hit 2 for remotes.
Perfect. Perfect. And have you? I mean, this is kind of this is a blown question already.
Uh-oh.
You've had Texas barbecue, I would hope. So we're just gonna go with you've had Texas barbecue.
Yeah, my brother actually did competition barbecue for a while, so I have had all the barbecues.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
I actually judged a barbecue competition one time. That was rough.
That could get quite contested, I think, depending, you know.
Oh yeah, it did, and it was just a lot of meat.
Oh
And-
yeah, I imagine.
And not all of it was good.
Oh.
Ooh,
That's,
bad meat.
ugh.
That meat's not good. All right. So, on to the kind of our first question here. Although while we do that, chat, as you can see, we've got some blanks over there. We would like if you guys could throw out just some guesses into how many normal raids they've done, how many legendary raids they've done, how many kilometers they've walked, how many catches they've had, how many stops they've spun, and what their estimated XP is. So if you guys are hanging with us, throw out a few guesses into those various categories, and we're gonna jam on with a few more questions here while you guys go for that. So TXMischief, tell us a little bit about yourself, your play style, what kind of got you into Pogo.
So originally started because of my nieces, who are now so old that they do not think that Pokemon is cool anymore. Like I said, I haven't played any of the main series games, and so everything was all new to me. So it was kind of funny at the beginning because I was like, the Stardust stuff, it powers things up, but then it goes away, but how do I get more? So I was the complete noob when I started playing, which was fun. Started out, playing some with them, and then of course they grew out of it, And then I ended up meeting community here in my neighborhood and in my little suburb of Austin, and went from there. I'm a fairly casual player. I'm not somebody who's gonna go just, crazy like Andres does. I tend to be kind of an explorer and a collector, so I travel a lot for work and for fun. And so that's part of it for me, is finding Pokestops and Pokemon in different places and having memories of, like, the Slackoth Community Day. I was in Munich. And so I have memories of walking around Munich and catching Slackoth all day.
Pretty cool.
So things, yeah, fun things like that.
Have you ever gotten any Pokemon stranded in any gyms, or don't disclose where those are, but or what's the longest one you've had stuck in a gym that you know of?
Well, it's funny that the message just popped up that Carablast got knocked out, because that was one of these weird remote gyms where I just dropped something in, and I think it's been in there for like a week.
There you go.
I have had them go for a week or two before.
Okay.
None ever completely stranded. So
Roger
I
that.
usually will drop some lame low something if it's not a gym that I'm familiar with.
That's a good strategy. I remember back in the day, whenever like I was holding the 20 gems and collecting the 100 coins a day, or sorry, every 22 hours, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had like over 85 gems at one point. So I
gosh.
started to drop stuff that it was like, yeah, I'm not gonna use this, like, yeah, because otherwise I was like, oh yeah, I'm out of this thing, I'm out of that thing. I'm gonna take over for a second. I'm just gonna go through these stats real quick after all you guys' guesses. So, champion 481, legendaries 1196,
Not bad.
Jogger.
Not bad.
2,939. Catches 67,100.
Very nice.
Spins 33,387. And total XP 777,688,315.
So one thing I've noticed with this being episode 3 and looking at everybody's stats, everybody seems to have caught twice as many Pokemon as they've spun stops, and that seems to be like a pretty easy correlation there, which is I kind of find interesting, because I would have thought that the Pokestop number would have been less compared to catches, but that just seems interesting to me. Just random little aside there.
It's a little bit like, for example, I have caught 363,000 and my spins are at 280. So it's a little bit closer, just because like I can spin 3 stops a day. So,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, yeah, it's usually like that. For example, just not throwing anybody, like, we have a friend that buy Pokeballs quite often, that her rage is probably like a lot different. Like, she cannot spin, so she just buy balls, so she might have a lot less spins than.
Yeah.
And more catches. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys should graph it over time and then look at how those things go. That would be fun.
Let's just write that down. That would be like,
you know me with the ideas.
That's a good idea right there. 49 caught, 32 catch. Sorry, spawn, and
I'll probably be the very lowest end of the spectrum. I'll set the low bar.
Not so sure. You never know. So I'm just gonna jump back into what keeps you playing?
So what keeps me playing is the community. So that's the aspect of it, I think, that's been the most fun for me and the most interesting. And people don't believe me, when I tell them oh, these are my Pokemon Go friends. Actually, one of my friends is like, you said that out loud again. Because she's not a gamer. So yeah, I've met 3 different sets of people here in my neighborhood that I never would have met otherwise. I've met a couple of couples over in one neighborhood over from me, and we socialize on a regular basis. There's at least two Facebook Messenger groups that I'm in, one for my area and one for another. And then, of course, when COVID hit and Trainer Tips Nick started doing his broadcasts, I think all of us ended up meeting people that way. And so now I've got all these Discord communities and people internationally that now that things are opening up, I travel for fun, and I'm really looking forward to actually going to some places and meeting people that I've only known in game, and that to me I think is the funnest part of it. I got to meet people live in Seattle this summer, which was super exciting. Went to a Sanga Saga live get together with some folks that live there in the area, and then met up with people on Saturday and met up with a different group, Nereza and all of his crazy friends on Sunday. Brunch turned into dinner,
Wow.
which was fun. And then went and met up with Lil Sheba, who lives in Seattle, that evening. So it was really a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of
Cool.
fun. I wanted to go. I was like, no, I still can't.
I know. I felt so bad for the people that weren't able to go because it really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually went to the three Chicago ones, so I was just like, yeah, I wish I would have gone.
Mhm. Yeah, I was in that position with all the Chicago ones where I was like, oh, I should have gone. And so when I heard it was in Seattle this year, I was like, I'm not missing it.
Chicago ones, the first two were difficult with the tickets, the availability, like everything. Like you had to have a friend like to buy the ticket. Like if you didn't get selected, it was a little bit rough, to be honest. Like the first two.
Yeah, it was kind of funny this year. I think everybody was anticipating that because in Discord, everybody's like, okay, we're watching for tickets. We're watching for tickets, and then the day they dropped, it was messages everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Get your tickets, get your tickets.
Yep.
So
My goal for next year is the European one.
oh, same here actually. Actually, that's yeah.
Well, we may get to meet finally then.
That's I was actually gonna say earlier is that you're welcome to visit in Panama as well whenever you like.
Hey, I will head on down one of these days.
Yeah.
I've got the rest of my year planned though. I'm headed to Breckenridge and then Hawaii, so.
Ooh, very nice.
So continuing with the other questions, what else you got, Juice?
So, you mentioned the community a lot. What keeps you playing, and also, what got you started? I know we briefly talked about that, but what keeps you playing in regards to that?
So I've always played games, and then what got me started with Pokemon Go was I was familiar with Pokemon from my nieces. They used to show me their cards, and I actually decorated a cake with Pokemon on it for one of my nieces. And I was like, this sounds like a really different kind of, it's not your typical stupid phone game. It's actually going to get you out and get you walking, which I thought was great, and exploring. And so that was fun. And then what keeps me playing are all my friends that play, of course. And then also just the fun of anytime there's a new Pokemon or there's a new raid boss or when I travel, getting to see different, Pokemon stops. And my girlfriend who harasses me for playing, she's my travel buddy.
Oh.
And she actually, when she figured out, like, oh, I'm seeing cool things in the game because there's a Pokemon stop, and I'm like, hey, let's go see this thing over here a block over that might be cool for us to see. She's like, oh, that is kind of cool. I'm like, I got you.
So you got her playing. That's awesome.
Well, no, she's not playing, but at least she doesn't, like, roll her eyes every time I open the game now.
A little more supportive of the playtime and what it can find, right? The exploration that comes along with that.
Exactly.
So what is your spirit Pokemon? What would be your sort of favorite, or the one you identify with most?
My favorite one is Dragonite, just because Dragonite looks like this silly little creature, and his little smackdown, hands, and because he looks so silly and puts a hard smackdown on people. So, I like that. Mischief, of course, is my name everywhere, so I'm fairly mischievous. So I do not want to say Mr. Mime. But that, whatever the mischief Pokemon is, that would probably be it.
So continuing with that, since you started mentioning, how do you choose your in-game name?
My in-game name? So I am TXMischief everywhere. So that started a long time ago. My family loves to play pranks and, pull jokes on each other. And so my first name is Michelle, so Mischief fit with Michelle. And then, of course, TX, because I'm a proud native Texan.
Very nice.
Although these days, sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
There's that.
What's your star date, if you don't mind us asking? That's my favorite.
Okay, so believe it or not. Oh, where did I go? I went past it, didn't I? There we go. Right from the beginning, or close to the beginning. Not completely right at the beginning, but August.
A month after release, more or less, in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's still pretty early.
That's pretty early, yeah.
Do you still have your starter Pokemon?
So here's what's so sad is I had no idea that I would still be playing this game 6 years from now. And so I probably transferred that ages ago. When all this stuff came out, that if you had one of the early Pokemon, I think I had one or two still left then.
Don't worry about it. We have most of us have all trashed our starter Pokemon though. Like it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
We would have loved to have that Ken in our inventory. Ken in the channel we refer at 10-10-10s. So one of our friends, one time we wafu'd and he got like 5 10-10-10s, and like his highest IV Mewtwo he got that wafu was like a 93 or 91. So we stuck his name into the 10-10-10 Pokemon. So.
He's made history now.
Yeah, we need to improve the emote that we have in the channel for him. But yes, like he does even have like a small emote for him.
Nice.
So working through again the start of the game for you, how did you choose your team? And was there any particular reason there, or was it just like I kind of like that color, or did you more identify with the team in particular and sort of what the qualities were there?
Well, I know Andres knows because we always have our names in red, so I'm partial to red. That's my color. But then also just Valor, the icon for it, all of it. I was like, this is the one for me.
Cool. Have you ever changed your team, or have you just always stuck with Valor?
Always been Valor, always will be Valor.
Very cool.
What's your favorite type of Pokemon then?
Dragon. Love my dragons.
Hasn't that been the only answer that we have had so far?
That has been everybody's answer. Everybody loves the dragon types.
Really? Well, then you gotta get Nick on here with his grass type.
We're working on it. We're in conversations for those to happen. Juice, what's your favorite type of Pokemon?
I tend to stray more towards the water typing and the ground typing, and maybe even if you work it that way, the snow types or the ice types.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say more ice types really. I love being in the mountains. I love being out there. So really ice types for me. A nice sand shrew, a lowland sand shrew or a lowland vulpix. That's right in there.
So that's actually one of my vacation memories. My last vacation before COVID was up to Utah to hike in the end of December, beginning of January, and I caught I can never pronounce that stupid name, cryogonal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where I was in the car with my travel buddies, all three of them, and I'm playing and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Cryogon! And they're like, what are you talking about? And, and then my friend goes, oh, Pokemon again. Because we were driving and I was like, I gotta catch it.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
So yeah, it was fun.
We touched about it a little bit. Do you play on your own or with others? Because it seems like you do a little bit of those with your travel buddies. You play technically alone, and then you play with your community. So elaborate a little bit about the two aspects and what do you like about one versus the other. Like just talk to us through that, please.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of friends that for community days, depending on if it's a good one that we're interested in. Hello, Harry. We'll go to downtown Austin. There's a great route. We do breakfast and at this neat little place, and then the Capitol has all kinds of stops, and then all over downtown. So we'll just walk around downtown and do that, or we'll go over to one of the parks. And then sometimes, if my local community is getting together, we'll go. My little suburb of Austin has it's named Main Street, and it's your typical little old school main street. And there's a bunch of churches down there that all have stops, and so we'll just walk all over, downtown and do that. I do miss when we used to do raid hour pre-COVID, where it would be like 10 cars and we would go from place to place to place showing up. So I miss getting to do that. That hasn't really picked back up post-COVID. Everybody's tends to still do their remote raids.
I'm gonna squeeze in the one question you got over there. I'm gonna steal it from you. So, what's your alcoholic beverage of choice? That's from one of our viewers. That's his signature question. So.
Nice. So, I actually developed this habit during the No Result Music streams during COVID on Friday nights, drinking mezcal.
Ooh.
That's a nice one.
A spicy mezcalrita is, if I'm out, that's my favorite drink.
I can get behind that fully.
I can totally join you on that too.
There you go. As he cracks open.
There we go.
Why not? They put it in my mind.
What's your favorite event? Whether that be an in-person event or like a community day or any of the raid days or things like that. Just from your your experiences over the last 6 years, what's been your favorite sort of thing that you've had happen or experienced in Pokemon Go?
Probably for the local, it was actually getting out and doing the raids, with the community. I love doing the community day with a few friends, where we have, just enough to go take down the bosses. But having experienced a Go Fest live, I don't think anything else will match that as far as, and it's fresh in my mind because it just happened, so.
So just wondering, so since you commented on GoFest, so depending on where you were globally, that's how you were able to do the global GoFest through COVID. So did you participate on those? Were you home? Did you go out? Like how were those 2 years of the virtual GoFest for you?
So that was my first experience with GoFest, were those two at home. And so, yeah, I played from home by myself. Although, I had my local groups when there were raid times. And so I was doing raids with my local folks. And then probably by the second one, I had met all of the people in Nick's community and you and others, and was doing the remote raids once those became available.
Yeah, I can also relate that I actually did them from home myself. We really had like pretty strict restrictions here, so I just made sure that I had a Pokestop and I was just like spinning and catching. It was pretty boring, but I kind of got lucky with some things, so it was not as fun as an in person for sure.
I think at some point I probably got out in my car. So there's a Cabela's that's right across the highway from where I live, and Cabela's has like there's 10 stops and 2 or 3 gyms right there. And so I probably went and made the rounds in the parking lot a couple of times. But just, staying away from people at that point.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah, we can go over that one. So, do you do PvP at all?
I do. It's kind of funny. I started pretty heavily when it first came about, and then it was becoming like a part-time job for me to figure out, what team composition and all this, and I sucked at it, but I still enjoyed it. And also, at that point, that was the only way really to meet people that weren't in your area, when it first started. And through some of the Discords that I ended up joining. And that's how I've still got friends on my friends list. That's how I met Jamie Dodger in the UK, who's a big fan of Nick. I think RC Cola probably convinced Nick to have a tournament early on, and I participated, and so I met some people that way and became friends. And so I always considered it a victory if I won one of the matches in any tournament that I participated in. And so I don't do it as much anymore. I'll still do GBL, and I like to watch. But yeah, I figured out real quickly that I'm like, yeah, I just don't have time for this.
So
what's your favorite league to play in GBL? Where do you kind of stand on those areas?
So this is interesting because I actually like Ultra League. I know no one likes Ultra League. But for some reason, that's the one where I tend to do well, which is just weird to me.
I like Ultra League better than Great League, so I'm with you over there.
I definitely feel like Ultra Leagues, and we kind of touched on this
earlier
before.
On.
You know, it does have a more balanced meta, and it is more accessible than Master League, and you just don't have the random mix of that you get in Great League.
Yeah,
that's true. So the meta is a little bit narrower, but also you have some spicy picks that just happen to come up across sometimes. So.
You can still get away with some interesting stuff in Ultra League. Unlike Masters, I'm sorry, but I don't have the Stardust for Masters or the candies. There's no way.
Here's the thing with Masters. I don't have to worry about finding that 0, 15, 14 or that 2, 13, 12. It's a hundo. It's a hundo. I take it to 50. I best buddy it. I get it to 51, and that's it. That's it. It's done. So it's just a lot more simplified in my mind to just do Masters. Like
but you can't run in with a Purugly with Shadow Claw and do some damage. Like you can have a blast in Great League just because of that. That's my favorite thing to do early on in each season is just roll in with that Perugly and just massacre.
I can see it. I'm actually doing GBL right now, and I'm just like trying to do all my sets and whatever because Javeltal is coming soon, so that's gonna be a fun legendary to encounter after doing a couple sets. Although you probably get Poliwags all the time, but yeah. I'm just like trying to get to 20 and then see if I can I'm gonna try to see if I can get to legend this season. So.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, and
first time.
at least I've got the meta for Masters, so I'm fairly well covered. So I can at least do decently and still play and get the dust and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely not as hardcore as many.
The thing with Master is Master is on, and then there's a crazy Great League Cup. So it's you either play Masters, or the
Bizarro Cup.
Yeah. Or the one that you have
yeah.
one Pokemon have to build the other two. Or
See, and that's where with the tournaments, I finally was I was just having to throw dust and add extra moves to things, and then I'd use them one time, and then they were, not part of whatever the next crazy cup was. And I was just like, oh, okay, no, I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah,
it was fun for a while, though.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, minor PvPer.
Well, let's kind of dive into your Pokemon list here and those shiny little badges as well. And what is the oldest Pokemon you still have in your inventory?
Well, let's find out.
Ooh.
And then,
and is it a hundo? That's the question. Is it a hundo?
No. Oh, those are recent. Oh, by the way, this was kind of fun for everybody. As we were setting up, I hatched an egg, and guess where it came from?
Wonder who sent you that.
Big rigged.
Right. So yeah, oldest is gonna be Mr. Flash right here from November of 2016.
Still not bad, and fully evolved, so that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like the look of him. He's a fun one. This is another one I am partial to all things magnetic. I don't know why. It's just so goofy. I like it.
How is that? What IVs is that Togepi? Sorry, not Togepi. Togekiss.
I have Wendy and Wilma. They're not perfect, but they're pretty decent.
That's workable.
I mean, that's a 2018, so yes. That's one of the early ones.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That wasn't helpful, was it?
It's all good.
Yeah, Togepi is one of my favorites, too. I really love, Wendy and Wilma.
I actually, whenever I got my first Hundo Togepi, I maxed it to 40, and I best buddy it, and I just left it. Then level 50 came around, and you're like, you have to have your level 50 Togekiss, and I'm like, so I evolved it. So recently I got another Honda Togepi. I haven't maxed it yet, but I probably will to 50 and take it back to because I like the little one. It's like, yeah, but it's like I have a level 50 best buddy Pichu with a hat.
So I have the most random shiny collection of anybody anywhere probably. They're just bizarro. So,
like the shiny Pidgey. That's always a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, so some of the normal ones, but then I had multiple Diglets. I'm like, why?
Multiple shiny Diglett. Wow.
Multiple Golducks, and bizarre things like that. I'm a big fan of the Little Hulk, as well. Um, my Great League Marowak was one of my first like surprise shinies. Like I just went and did a catch, and then it was a 96.
Oh wow.
Yes. But yeah, just bizarre stuff. I'll get go past all
there's
of
this
the.
Snorlax.
Shiny Snorlax with a hat.
Yeah. So
I like the shinies with hats. Shinies with hats are my favorite.
okay, so this was a funny story. I'm walking to GoFest, and I'm like a block away, but apparently I hit, the border. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Snorlax. And then I click on it. Holy shit, it's a shiny. The first one, like right out of the gate.
Wow.
And I yell, and I'm all excited, and I'm looking at all the people playing Pokemon Go around me, thinking, you people should be excited for me. And they're just like, heads down, playing. And I'm like, oh, come on, I need somebody to celebrate with.
There's some of us that like literally block everything out and just blindly walk and just try to catch everything. We kind of like have had a couple people in this stream so far, in the podcast so far, that it's like, yeah, we just block everybody and we just walk on our own because it's more efficient. I'm like, community people.
You're the people that were running into me at GoFest all over the place. Come on, people. Use your peripheral vision. At least don't run into people.
Yep.
Alright, so let's keep scrolling because this is interesting because, like, for example, Lickitung, like, I had to trade for Licky, or, I don't have, like, a Lickitung.
Shiny Furret?
Yeah, random.
Those everyday sort of mundane ones are kind of my favorite. It's one of those, if I'm going to leave something at a gym, that's the kind of thing I'm going to leave at a gym. I'm going to flex with some weird shiny.
Totally. The APOM, I was working in downtown Houston, so I have an AR picture of it on top of a skyscraper, which was kind of fun. Of course. I got a few of the unknowns.
We're lucky, so if you can send me one of those teas, that would be fantastic.
So now I have a reason to come to Panama so we can trade the tea. I'll put your name on it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Shiny Delibird.
Delibird ×2. That was one of the ones that and one of them's a 98%. Like, I got it, early on, and it was just, random. Stupid Skarmory. Oh, Houndoom. Over and over. I've traded shinies because I'm like, I'm done with you. I have enough of you. So yeah, just bizarre stuff.
I mean, I don't have a Standler either.
And
Stantler. Stantler's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's a fun one.
Oh, does it have the? If it's got the bells, that's really the one that's.
I mean,
just normal Stantler.
I will take the no bell one. I don't have a Standler. Period.
I want the bell one.
Oh yeah, but they might bring it back this December, right?
Yeah, they could. They could. That would be fun.
That would be really cool. I would like to see that.
I pretty much have all the legendaries because I raid like crazy. And what was really cool, for a while we had a raid bus here in Austin. And so you literally would get on the bus with a bunch of people, like a bus full of people, and they would just drive to gym after gym after gym. And so you would just catch like crazy.
Question, can you elaborate on that? Because I heard of it, I just never like actually got a chance to participate or...
It was so much fun. So you bought a ticket. They supplied water and stuff. They would have one of those nice tour buses, and I'm talking the big full length, like a full length bus, full of people. And then when you would get ready to drop into a raid, they would do they would do codes for them, and they do it by team. So they'd be like, okay, all the Valor drop in now with this code. So you would get the extra from that. And then everybody would raid, then you'd go to the next one, and then kind of halfway through, you make a pit stop and go grab snacks and stuff, and then get back on the bus, and then whoever got shinies or hundos during the raids, they would give out little prizes for that, and they had drinks and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Since, as you guys know, I used to waffle myself, but our scene was 100% different than that. We only had a 15-minute time to buy anything you guys wanted for the rest of the day. Then you were mine, and you had no chance to do anything else for the rest of the day. The only chance that there was one time that I had to pick up gas for some reason in the middle of the day, so they had like a 5-minute break while I filled up. But no, I heard of that Austin boss, and I was like, I don't know, like, we talk about, like, going down once from Kansas City, because it was like, yeah, they buy the ticket, they was like, that you went around, like, how many raids do you guys do, like, in a day, for example?
Gosh, probably 15, 20.
Okay.
Yeah, and they would do 2 shifts. They would do a
okay.
morning shift and an afternoon shift, and usually we would do both. It's like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do both.
So
we would
basically,
just
between
stay on
40
and
to
do
45
both.
raids.
Yeah, and so that's how I got Shiny Groudon, Shiny Kyogre,
Yeah,
all the things.
those were difficult at the beginning. Like, if you don't had more than like
Mhm.
6, 7 people, 7, 8 people. We're talking about bigger numbers.
Oh,
Like, they were just.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Did you raid any of the armored Mewtwo when that was available?
I did. So I do have Mewtwo, but didn't get to do that on the bus. But yeah, I've got a few. Oh, it might help if I could type, huh? I'm typing around my microphone. So yeah, I've got a few of those guys.
Not bad. 2 96s, okay, and a 93.
Yeah, and that's of course the ones that I didn't trash.
Yeah, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How is your, like, okay, so back to the collections, because this is interesting, because everybody does it differently. It's like, what's your storage like, and like, what do you keep? Because I see that your collections are like, you have collection, 19, okay.
It's
Because,
all over the
like,
place.
I wish I only had that many Bulbasaurs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I'm like, if I just put 1 in my phone, I have 36 Bulbasaurs. I don't know why. Like, I wish I only had 6.
Well, and you'll notice most of those are ones that have hats. Because, you know, you gotta keep this. I cannot get rid of things with hats and costumes.
Yep.
As much as I hate them, like Nick does, like, oh, another hat, I have to keep them.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's like, I see that. So what do you keep, and what, because it's like, I see that it's like very well like organized. Do you have anything that is like, okay, I just want to keep this kind of stuff, like, how do you decide what to delete? Because that looks very, very nice. Like, I wish I can get to like half or double that per se. And
Yeah, so usually I'll try to keep, like, if it's something that's useful, I'll try to keep at least 6. And they'll be whatever's good. And like those 2 shadows, I probably haven't even checked, you know, other than just to see that they were decent, and obviously haven't done anything with them. But yeah, I'm pretty picky. If it's not a 90 or above, it's going to the trash pretty quickly, unless it's a shiny or something that has useful IVs, you know, for Master League.
I see.
Do you trade a lot away for candy, or is it mostly just transferring around and that sort of thing?
So I have a whole, this is one of the reasons why my storage is so crazy, because I have got a gazillion of things that will be for good mileage trades, and I just haven't gotten around to hanging out with one of my friends and trading.
Very nice.
So yeah, I've because, like I said, I've got friends around the world. You can see Saudi, New Zealand, Netherlands, Indonesia, Brazil, Danilez, of course. So yeah, periodically I'll just have like a trade party with somebody, and we'll either just do re-rolls to get something cool that's shiny, or we'll do mileage.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I don't have that sort of organization. Whenever I'm running out of space, I just delete like some stuff that is not Hondas, and I just move on.
Usually what I do is I'll put them in number order, and that way I can just kind of go through and like whatever doesn't look like it gets to stay goes away. Or I'll do a search for trade, and I'll just dump a bunch of the ones, because I mean you can see I've got a ton of stuff just sitting out there that's just junk.
I have max storage, so I have 6,150, and I'm stuck at 6,000. I'm like right now I have 6,128 of 6,150. So yeah, I should be able to downsize a little.
Yeah, but it's time consuming. Like, you know, I can sit, and because there are so many Pokemon now, and I have so many, just going through and doing that delete process can take a couple hours. So I'll put on a movie or something and just go through and delete. But like, it scares me when I see, oh look, we have a remote raid invite.
Ooh, and Esper.
Go ahead, if you want to do it, go ahead. We don't.
I'm like,
terrible.
do I want to spend a remote raid pass on an Esper? I don't think so.
It's from Texas. If it was from somewhere else, I'll say go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. If it was one of the exotic destinations, then maybe. But yeah, not so much. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I hate the stupid incense, the new daily incense.
Oh, tell us about it. Come on.
Just like, because I don't get out and walk that much, and when I do, it's in a circle around my neighborhood, so it doesn't really do me that much good. But I have found a technique that works if you're sitting in traffic. It's really effective.
Yes. I've done the same thing.
Because you're going in a straight line on the highway.
On the highway, okay.
And there's no danger that you're going to run people over.
It works up to 30 miles an hour, by the way. I had Bird test that yesterday, driving in on our road, and then we tested it on the highway. It still shows up, and nothing stays in the ball. So, but it works up to 30 miles an hour. So if you are the passenger and you're stuck in traffic, there's your pro tip for the day.
Exactly.
So have you seen a Galarian bird? As you mentioned the incense, have you seen a Galarian bird?
Yes, I did. And I had 2 throws, and I did not catch it.
Oh, you got 2 throws, though.
Yes, with Goldens, and I didn't manage excellent throws, but I managed great throws, and it still got away. And that, I'm still salty about that. That happened last week.
I had one run on me like 4 hours ago, and I don't know, like I thought I was gonna be salty, but I'm kind of glad that I finally saw one.
Well, me too. I was so excited that I finally saw it, and then didn't get it on the first try, and then I was waiting for it to run, and it didn't, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get a second chance. Maybe this means I'm gonna get it. And then when I didn't that second time, then that made me mad. Because I was like, come on, you gave me the second chance. I got the great throw.
That's interesting, because I have heard of second and third chances. But no, mine was just one, and it was like, nope, gone. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so far my encounters on the main, and then one of the alts has seen it, and again, not that often, but we've tried, and it's only been the one ball, and then it's gone every time.
How many times did it shake?
Once. I mean, you get the one shake, and that's it.
Mine shook twice, so I was just like, oh my god, no.
And then no. Thanks, Niantic.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you, Niantic. But so let's come back to a little bit more of the present. So how do you feel about the game right now? Like, you talk a little bit about the incense. I see something particular on your screen that I still don't have, that is Campfire. Have you used it? But how do you feel of the state of the game right now?
It's gotten a little better, because I feel like they're making an effort with all of the different events that they're doing. Although, like this month, I'm like, can we not have quite so many events? Because then I feel like I have to play for each event. And I'm just like, I need to have a life here too, you know, and I can't be going and playing Pokemon Go every single weekend. So I have mixed feelings about that. I like having all the events, and I especially like having all the opportunities to get extra XP. So, excuse me. I'm just getting over COVID.
No worries. No worries. This is the fun. This is fun of live television, live shows. It's all good. Everything goes.
Everybody, don't forget to hydrate. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying about the events, yeah, like...
Okay, I think I can talk again without choking.
I remember before that there was like a week off event and then a week off, like a week on and a week off.
Right.
What happened? Like, I thought that it was just like every week only on the summer, but nowadays it's like we're just a little bit overwhelming, but I just pick the ones that are more interesting, and then I just like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. In Kate, let's play an hour, forget the other two. It's kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I get it, because new players aren't gonna have all of the things like we do. Those of us who've been playing it for 6 years. So I get that. And yeah, like you said, if it's something that I've done before, seen before, I've already got the shinies, I've already got the hundos, I don't care. You know, I'll skip it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your favorite community day that you have participated, and which is one that you would like to come back as a, what is it? What are they called? Classic community day.
Classics.
Classic. Man. So I think the one that I would like to see come back is Beldum, because I was flying to Washington, D.C. for work that day, and I literally landed with like an hour left. And so I'm going all over the airport, catching. Fortunately, there were a lot of spawns, so I was able to catch, but I had to get my rental car and get to an evening event for work. And so I was like, dang it. And I really like, Metagross is a great Pokemon. That was a great move. It stayed relevant in the metas. And so, yeah, I'd love to see that one come back.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your favorite that you played, for example, like the one that you have like the best memory of a community day so far?
Probably the Slackoth, because I was in Munich. We were walking to a castle, and so I have these great memories of that walk and just catching and seeing the sights and having all the little Slackoth that I caught from Munich. in my decks. So yeah.
Going
And
back.
so little bit of trivia. The guy that I always put in the gym, just so happens to be, he must be in the gym, is a slacking. So he's my guy that I put in gyms all the time.
Very cool.
It's
Yeah.
those days that you have to fly and there's a community day.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to come back from Turkey for Duskull Community Day. That was the day that I came back from Turkey. I just wanted a shiny from Colombia because we had a stopover in Colombia. So we stay in the plane for like about 45 minutes. So I had like 3 or 4 spawn points around the plane, like because we couldn't deplane, and I was just like, my character was drifting a little bit. I did get one shiny, but it's like that was the one community that I couldn't play because I was coming from the rate, like the hours, and I was coming backwards, so I was missing them. I was just like literally missing them in the 14-hour flight. So
That's the worst.
I think I've played three separate community days in the Houston airport.
I've been there, but then I've also benefited because one time I had a stopover in Nashville, and I caught what's the cactus?
Maractus?
Yep.
It's not Maractus. It's the
no.
It's a regional. It's a
Carvana.
regional. Yes.
Carnivine. What is
Carnivine.
it? Carnivine.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Carnivine.
Carnivine.
I happened to catch Carnivine in the airport. And so I have benefited that way a couple of times. My great regret is I went on safari in South Africa in 2017. And I was so concerned about data use on my phone. And I had bought a local SIM card and a plan. And I was afraid my data was going to run out because I knew I was going to need to be uploading pictures and stuff from being out on safari. And so I never opened the game the whole time I was there. Didn't even think like when I was on Wi-Fi when I finally got back to civilization. And so I'm like, I have no South African Pokemon
But
to remember from my trip.
Juice, like PoGo doesn't actually consume that much data. That's what I was gonna go.
PoGo doesn't run much data. When we were over in Egypt, I had Bird's phone tethered to mine the whole time we were in Egypt, and we played for 2 weeks. And I think I used like maybe a gig of data the whole time while we were in Egypt.
PoGo doesn't use too much data. You just have to have a stable connection. But like
Yep.
that is the
Yeah, as we've all learned from.
Whenever you send a
PDL.
ticket to Niantic, make sure you have a. I'm like I have 15 upload and I have like 500 download. I'm okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have to see though. You guys saw
I'll
that
sit
the
here
data
with-
mine of like you can download the assets of the game in the new update. So that might help with some of the lag and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, that
That'd be
will be interesting to take a look at whenever I haven't gotten the update, so that.
Yeah, so there's my home gym.
It's yellow.
And well, so we have an agreement. So one of my first Pokemon run-ins, like Pokemon politics, I'm sure we've all had them. I pulled up to the gym one day and was gonna knock somebody out, and this guy comes walking over to my car and he's like, "Are you TXMischief?" And I'm like, "Yes." And there's all these people and cars, so I guess they were there to do a raid. But apparently there was an understanding that the gym is yellow during the day and it is red at night. And I had been knocking them out on my way to work. And so, yeah, there's an understanding in the neighborhood. That
Interesting.
it's yellow during the day. And yeah, if some interloper comes, then one of us will go knock him out. Because we're just jerks like that.
I mean, there was a time that I had a vertical line split in North Kansas City, and I just allowed one side to be yellow, and I took everything else on the other side. So we all have had those sorts of agreements.
Yeah, so the guy that came up to my car and squawked at me lives over in this neighborhood over here, and they didn't have gyms at that time, but as you can see now, they've got a couple over there. It's kind of hard to see them sometimes. But yeah, they've got a couple over there now, and so he doesn't yell at people in my neighborhood anymore. He just yells at people in his neighborhood. And fortunately, he likes me, and he's got a Valor account. He and his wife, they actually have 3 accounts between them, so I get lots of random raid invites from them, and the 4 of us can pretty much take down anything. So it's nice to have friends like that in the game.
I have one.
Well,
I have one question before we go back to like the other one. It's like, do you have any idea of like a quality of life update that you will do to the game? Since you said you're a gamer, I can see the headphones, I can see the share. You mentioned it earlier. So, is there any sort of like an update or like a change in the mechanics of the game that you personally would like to see?
Well, I mean, who wouldn't like to see remote trades? But I understand, from a creation standpoint why they wouldn't want to do that, because then that negates the community aspect, that negates the uniqueness of regionals and things like that. So I get why they don't, but I would really like remote trading.
I probably
or
will allow
trading at least periodically.
Lucky trades to be able to be remote. That will be enough for me to yeah. Like I understand the other trades now, but it's like
definitely if you go lucky with somebody, I feel like that would be a solid thing, because you do have a lot of these folks that, hey, you're lucky with, that are on the other side of the world just because of the communities that we've found, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've got a million of them that are lucky, and I can't trade with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that will be something, or at least have an event. I mean, they can even do like a week event. Like, okay, you can do 7 lucky trades remotely or like something.
A fun worldwide event, where they encourage you to have friends across the world. But I know Hanky's pretty particular.
I haven't mentioned this, but one of the things that I like raiding a lot. One of the things that I thought about, and I have said on Twitch before, is what about a lure module that you can equip into a gem and spawn any raid that have happened before ever in the game?
Oh, now that would be fun.
I mean, you can put it whatever price you want, but I mean, like,
it would randomly pull up different bosses. That would be fun.
Not randomly. You can pick what you want. That will be kind of like more.
Oh, you're going all the way where you get to pick.
Or randomly will be fine, as long as you say like, it's gonna be a tier 5. I'm not gonna like, get a Shinx that we have like a couple shinies already from a,
Right.
You end up with the Esper raid.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
But even that will be fine. Like a random legendary, like let's just say, or a random mega if you buy the mega one. But it's like there's so many ways that they can make money that is not making some boxes that are unwanted.
Oh, you want to talk about something I'm bitter about is the scanning of Pokestops. So I am the person who literally keeps a scan task at all times, because I'm like, it makes me bitter. I'm not gonna do your work for you.
Do you know that if you delete those, sometimes you can get a different task from Pokestops, right?
Oh yes, yeah, and that I thought was a great tip. I actually used that on one of the either research days or community days, I think, which I love.
Yeah,
But,
I always I don't do scanning myself either. I always keep one because it's annoying that I spin some. It's like, oh yeah, that had a scanning task. So I usually try not to like delete my scanning tasks, and I don't do them.
Well, and I also, so interesting thing, if people want to read some of the history of what became Pokemon Go, I actually have a connection to a guy that's in marketing at Niantic. He's from the Austin area. He used to do these computer shows back in the mid 90s, and a friend of mine worked for him when she was a grad student. And I ended up doing, weekend, like earn a couple $100, go take tickets at the computer show kind of thing. He was friends with John Hankey from college and ended up becoming his marketing guy, and wrote a book about how their mapping software started, when they went and became part of Google, and then since how they've spun out. And it's a fun read because it really helps you understand the mindset and what the company's all about. Because ultimately, I mean, it's mapping software is how it started. So
Yeah. If you have the name or something, we can always put it in the description in the whenever we upload the video to YouTube. So.
yeah, I'll find it so y'all can upload it. His name's Bill Kilday, and yeah, it's easy to find the book because that's the only thing he's written.
So
Yeah, it was fun to hear like their whole history of how mapping started to begin with, in the early .com days, and back in the Netscape days, if you're old like me.
Netscape, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember going into CompUSA to go get whatever you needed because that was the only place that sold anything.
Mm-hmm.
You get the free AOL trial disc. Uses a frisbee.
Dang, I'm feeling young now.
You didn't ever do any AOL chat room action?
AOL? No, I started with MSN.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, MSN. MSN was the what's the one that I started off with, so I'm a little bit
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah, different generations.
All right, I'm gonna jump into here and say, I mean, I don't think so, but have you thought about stop playing anytime soon? And if so, why? And if not, great.
It's probably gonna be like when I was playing World of Warcraft all the time. At some point, I'll just stop, and it won't be planned. I will just stop. And I'll think like, oh, I should open the game. Maybe I should go back and do that, and then I just won't. And I almost did it when Niantic pulled their shenanigans, and the community got in an uproar and had to send the letters and all of that. I was pretty close then. But it seems like things have gotten a little more fun then, and I've been able to engage with friends in the community again, and so who knows.
With that, it's like the only thing that I still feel like they haven't gotten right. It's the communication, like the community day,
Yeah.
like what they announced it a little bit late, or the events, like what they give 12 hours to the NC people, and they're probably sleeping whenever the announcement come out.
Yeah, and that drives me crazy because I work for a software company. It's the second software company I've worked for, and I know what goes behind, releases and things like that, and the stuff that you should be doing to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. And I'm like, how, after 6 years, can they continue to screw up so horribly? Like, I just don't get it. I truly do not understand.
And some things that I also like look into, or like have learned over the 6 years is like, you have the PvP people, you have the raid people, and you have the events, like other events, kind of like teams. How difficult is to send an email weekly for everybody to be on the same in the same picture, because sometimes you can tell that
Right.
that one team is releasing something and the other one also like off top of each other, and then it's like, okay, so we don't have those spawns but we have that, and it's like this is on top of that. It's like I feel communication is not good even internally.
No,
at times.
they clearly do not have their communication down at all. It's horrible.
And on
And
that
I
note,
get,
I'm gonna say
you
it
know-
again. In my opinion, they need to rewrite the entire like master like code of the game, so they can actually fix the bugs and like have a like an actual language to continue like forward.
And sometimes that's what it takes, you know.
Mhm.
And it's hard because we've done that with products that we have where we've completely rewritten code, and yeah, it's not easy, but sometimes it has to be done.
Yep.
So,
Blind lobbies, lacking GBL, you name it. Like I mean, years and years of same kind of issues.
well, and what's funny is when you play another Niantic game and you see the same issues.
Oh,
Mhm.
Because I played the Harry Potter game for a little while and saw the same things, drift and lag, and you know, and I know some of that is the phone, and GPS, but then other things like it'll just sit and spin, you know, and it'll be in Pokemon, and I play Pikmin too.
you still
And
do?
You'll see the same thing. Yeah, not as much, but you know, I'm like, are they gonna kill it? Are they not? We keep hearing the rumors,
Oh God.
but then they keep adding features and events, and they've just added 3 or 4 new things. So I'm like, that doesn't sound like something they're trying to kill to me, you know. Everybody's convinced, oh, they're gonna kill it off. I'm not seeing that, not yet. And Pikmin are so darn cute, and they make cute noises. They suck you in.
So, okay. So, any closing statements? Anything you wanna leave us with? Social media that people can find you at, if you do some of that, or any other closing thoughts that or stories that you had in mind and we didn't cover. Like, go ahead. The floor is yours for some last statements or social media or any commercials you wanna put out there.
I think I've probably covered all of the fun stories. So social media, I'm TXMischief everywhere. So I'm pretty easy to find. I'm pretty active on Twitter, more so probably than others, but yeah. And like Nick, I do the travel thing, so I don't do the fabulous videos that he does, but I post some cool pictures from time to time.
So we can say Twitter and Instagram per se then.
Yep, that's where you can find me.
So, that's my part. We're still getting used to this. So as we're closing the stream / the podcast, of course we
Pro
have
streamer.
Oh yeah,
Oh, streamer.
pro streamer. We started our list of the players that have come through. We want to say
thanks for having me.
I was gonna say
I'll
thank
say
you for
that.
coming by or coming into the podcast. It's always fun to have different points of view. Juice, I think you can agree with that.
Absolutely different points of view, different styles. You know, everybody plays the game differently. Everybody has different expectations, and you know, your interaction with the community is pretty amazing. So
Yeah, that's something that we haven't had in the show before. The community, more of like how people build these communities or how you find people, because sometimes they just keep playing alone. So, you know, like always, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave your favorite emoji down in the comments. Engagement helps a lot. And yes, thank you TXMischief, thank you chat for hanging out, and you know, this is gonna go up in a few days, so thank you.